Welcome to the Create a Life You Love podcast, the go-to podcast for people who are called to make a positive impact through the power of coaching. You'll hear encouraging stories from coaches sharing their journeys and their lessons learned along the way, tips from top experts who help coaches thrive in their life and their business, and so much more. So if you're ready to create a business and a life of impact that you love, let's get started. Hey, everybody. Hey, Gwen. I'm so excited.
I am too. I'm like, oh my God, it's 100.
Yes. So welcome everyone that is joining us for tonight's very, very special episode of the Create a Life You Love podcast. I cannot believe we are celebrating our 100th episode.
Oh my God.
Going,
So
I know,
exciting.
right? Isn't it crazy?
It's so crazy.
And I'm real excited about the lineup we have for tonight, all the fun things we're going to get to do.
Exactly. Yeah. We've got a lot on the agenda, as it were. Woohoo! Julie says, woohoo.
Oh,
Thanks,
hi, Julie. Welcome. Glad you made it with us live. So real quick, let's do some intros and then let's get started because tonight is just going to be too much fun. So I'm Chantel Cox. I'm an author, a speaker, a transformation neurocoach, and a certified life purpose coach. I love helping purpose-driven coaches save them from just feeling stuck and overwhelmed and frustrated and burned out. And we get them off that hamster wheel and make an aligned impact that they're destined for.
Amen. I love it. And I'm Gwen White. I am a quantum human design specialist and a certified virtual coach. And I actually specialize in working with introverted entrepreneurs. And by reading your energetic blueprint or your human design chart, I provide a reliable process and simple strategies to help you get massive traction on the most important work in life, in relationships, in business, so that you go from frustrated to free. And every day you feel excited, empowered, and engaged. So I know before we launch in, obviously I have to give a quick shout out to our sponsor, the Create a Life You Love membership, this amazing growing community of passionate, purpose-driven coaches who are partnering up in powerful ways to increase their knowledge, their momentum, and their impact. So we hope you will check it out at createalifeyoulovecoaching.com/membership. Which brings me to, of course, here we are, the 100th episode, and we're actually going to be giving something very special away. So tell us about our giveaway.
Yes. So we decided to do kind of a tell-all episode, meaning you all have been asking us questions and we are here tonight to answer them. We had almost 50 questions. What were we at, like 49?
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah. That's so awesome.
Incredible.
Yeah. So you all sent in your questions, and then for every question that you submitted, your name is ready to go on a fun little spinner that Gwen made us. And we will be raffling off a 30-day all access pass into the Create a Life You Love membership.
Woo, that is so awesome, Chantal. I'm really curious. Since you've started the membership, tell me your favorite things, maybe your top 3.
Oh gosh, top 3. I really, really love that we get to tailor it. Like we are building it and we're customizing it to meet the unique needs of the members. And that's so important to me because as a coach, I've joined so many like cookie cutter programs and they only partially met my needs. And so it's just really exciting to be like, we're not doing that, and offer this very like curated approach. And let's see, that was one.
Exactly. What else?
I really, really like our new membership app.
I do too.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It's so
and
cool.
It's easy. Isn't it cool? And, we were going to start in Facebook, and this just really helps remove that distraction. Like you're talking about in the productivity series that you're doing. What did you call them? The butterflies?
Your inner butterflies. Exactly.
Yeah. So we are able, with the membership app not being on Facebook, you don't have to deal with all the notifications. You get on and you're ready to focus and build momentum. And so I love our app. And just the fact that I get to work with you and our amazing members, absolutely love the little community that we're building and that we're supporting each other, and we're all growing and doing amazing things. And I can't wait to see the impact that we all together make on this world.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I actually love everything you said, all the things. I think for me, the opportunity to connect with other coaches, experts that also bring in something that, of course, we're going to be adding here pretty quick. We've got Paige Salick coming in to do marketing intensive, which is such an awesome opportunity for all of us. I think the chance to share kind of what I've learned about coaching, about business that might, possibly help others save time and save them the headache of having to go through what I did. Likewise, you have kind of that same sort of vibe. And then I just feel really fortunate just to be able to serve this community. So I love being able to bring in the human design training that I've received and hopefully help our community and make an impact with that stuff. And so, we were talking about the membership. The winner, of course, of today's giveaway gets a full 30-day pass to that. And remind me, Chantal, I would love to know a little bit more about what you think of as the value of this amazing tidbit, this incredible gift.
Yes, that's hard because you're doing 2 series of masterclasses. I'm doing a series of masterclass. We're bringing in experts. We're having connection reflection calls. We have the app and the community and the support and the accountability. So it's really, really hard to put like a monetary value on it.
Agreed.
So I guess the only way I could really answer it is to say that like right now, because we're still fairly new, for about 10 more days, we're still accepting founding members and they can lock in that rate of $97. And
that's so awesome.
I guess that's the
I guess that's the dollar, no dollar value attached to it. But
Yeah.
I agree with you. It is really priceless what we're building and what our members are able to take away. So and we're doing a bonus live coaching call tomorrow.
Yes.
So we do lots of live coaching. There's lots of opportunity to get learning and support. And I love, in our in the app that you've created for us, that we have the opportunity to share additional bonus content there as well.
Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah.
Just amazing.
It's been so fun. Okay.
Well, what do you say that we jump into some questions?
Let's do it. I'm so excited. So we were blown away by the number of questions that we got from you all. And so, we were thinking we'd get 10 and we'd strategically pick out like the top 5 or whatever, but we got 49 and they're all amazing. So we're going to be picking them at random. And obviously we cannot get to all 49. We're sorry. But we'll do the best we can and then see what's left over, how we might be able to, if there's something big. Yeah,
absolutely. And of course, our intention is to bring up at least one question from everybody who submitted. So let's do it. Okay. Do you have one to kick us off, Chantal? Or do you want me to jump in there? Okay.
I want to know. So Esmeralda is one of our fabulous members, and she asked you, Gwen, what is the most life-changing experience that got you here?
Oh, gosh. Oh, so many things. But the most life-changing experience that got me here was my burnout. I experienced one of those like utter burnout events in my life. It was a total physical, emotional, spiritual, mental, just breakdown. I was going along, doing my work. And I literally had gotten to the place where I could not bring myself to pick up a phone, and I was a salesperson and that's a problem. And I left my career and over the course of the next year went through a rebuilding and totally like retraining myself, not only in, human design and some of the more kind of self illumination practices that I was going through, but I was also learning new skills. I was doing a lot of skill building. And you and I bumped into each other in a Facebook group, and we were working on a marketing challenge. And that's how, yeah, that's how we came together. And then, over the course of our connection, we sort of just kept in touch, and here we are, months and months, year, whatever later.
Yeah. That's so exciting. So that speaks to the power of these communities and the networking and those connections and relationships. So you never know the people that you're meeting now in the Create a Life You Love community, in the membership, and other groups that you're in. You might write a book together. You might be on a podcast together. You don't know. You get to make that leap and decision.
Exactly. Yeah. Collaboration is really, for me, and I think more and more and more, it's where it's at. And I just absolutely feel so grateful that I met you, and I'm so thrilled that we were able to come together. And I can't believe, I pinch myself that I'm here helping you with this podcast.
I love it. The feeling is mutual, my friend.
Okay. All right. Well, why don't we stick with podcasting as a theme, since we kind of got off on that tangent. Let's see. Who was our last question from? Remind me.
Esmeralda.
Oh, that's right. So Michelle Maria Nichas, she submitted so many questions, and several of them actually were for you. Okay. And she talked, she has so many great questions, particularly about podcasting. So I'm going to pick out one. How do you find and attract guests to your show, and where do you find them?
That is a really good question. So when I was first starting and had no idea where to find people at, I had done and that's where I met Julie, that's on here live and is a member. I had done Reach Live with Pete Vargas, and he had a whole 8-week program that we did. And then Reach Live was the live aspect of it in the Denver area. And we had a very active, hundreds of entrepreneurs looking for stages. The whole thing was getting your signature speech together so you could get on stages, whether that be virtual or in person or whatever that looked like. So I had access to this multiple hundred Facebook group of very active people, very motivated to get on stages, that had training on how to be good guests. So that really filled up quite a bit of my season 1, 2. I still have some of them on sometimes. And so really looking at what are your current resources? What are you already tapped into that you can access? And then I kind of went broader and started looking at, there are lots of Facebook groups specifically for finding podcast guest collaborations. And what I've found very valuable, since I have a podcast, I think I get on a lot more podcasts because we can do podcast swaps.
That's a great tip.
Yeah, it's always important to make sure that both people and messages, align with both communities and audiences, and we stick with like the value and serving. But there's a ton of people out there that can come on the Create a Life You Love podcast and fit in that realm and provide incredible value and service. And then, they've invited me to do Facebook Lives, official podcast interviews, Instagram Lives. So really just getting out there and asking, like, nobody's going to come to you and say, can I be on your podcast? Well, it happens occasionally, but not very much. It's putting yourself out there. And so there's a couple of Facebook groups that you would follow their rules. They're a little bit different. And so you'd say, this is what I'm looking for. Here's the next step. I have a Google form that I have people fill out, and they apply, and then I screen and I say, yes, this person's a good fit. And then we go through the whole rest of the process, which Gwen has seen the Trello board. There's a process.
Unbelievable. It really boggles the mind how much planning work, like the organization level that you have, is just insane, Chantal. So I'm just blown away. Quick follow-up question from Michelle as well. is, where did you find the music?
Oh, yes. There are several things. Like when I was getting started, I Googled like free podcast music, and then I found out there's different titles. There's like royalty free music and different types of copyrights. And so I kind of educated myself a little bit in that to make sure I wasn't, going to go to podcast jail or anything. But I learned it all from Google. I found some sites that were free and low cost, and there are some higher cost ones. And I just listened to a lot of jingles until I found one that I felt matched my vibe of my personal vibe, the vibe of the podcast, what I was trying to do. And I have continued with that one. I had to edit it down. I had to pick sections that I liked because it's like a minute and a half long little jingle. So I picked one I like that I felt kind of like led into the episode and one that kind of led out. And edited that on, I use GarageBand. It's a free audio editing tool if you have a Mac, but there are other ones out there. But yeah, that's kind of where I started, was just Google. And then anybody in the membership or interested in the membership, all these things. So you don't have to Google. We have direct links already teaching you and directing you and showing you tutorials of how to do this. But for the purposes of the podcast, Google is amazing, and YouTube and all those fun things.
Nice. Wonderful. Yeah. Podcasting is really an amazing way to connect and engage with, an audience you already have built, or to build an audience. And of course, we would certainly invite you to dive a little deeper by listening to our last episode, where Chantal really gave us essentially a masterclass for anyone who's interested in starting their own podcast. So I would definitely encourage Michelle to look at the last episode of Create a Life You Love podcast, where we talked a lot about podcasting in particular. And then also there's a whole masterclass on podcasting that we're offering as a part of the membership. So
it's a whole series. So we already have filmed 2, and then we're creating little tutorials, and you'll get, like I talked about my Trello board with all the processes, you'll get that as a template. Anything I use, the members will have access to as a template, a simplified template that more represents what I had when I started, not where I'm at 100 episodes later. But yeah, so that's really important to me, is to help people cut that time in half, because I did it in March 2020. I figured it all out, and I didn't have a whole lot else to do.
Yeah. And I can tell you, with the flow, the organization, all of the tools that you have in place, you're not saving someone half the time. You're saving them, I don't know, I would think 90% of the time, if they can get access to just that Trello board. It's holy cow, such a great tool.
Well, so that's important to me. That aligns with my values. Yay.
Exactly.
Okay, my turn to ask you one, Gwen. Let's see. So many good ones. Let's pivot slightly to sales.
Ooh, let's do.
Karen is another fabulous member in the membership. She wants to know, Gwen, that she says you have said that you have won awards with sales. What did you sell?
So, Karen, I actually have sold lots of things in my sales career. As far as awards go, I would say I won the most awards when I was in hospitality sales and event sales. And then as well, when I was in the real estate end of things, and I was actually in vacation rental management. And my team and I, who I assembled very quickly, we were able to build a collection of 75 properties in this beautiful resort area. It was actually a vicinity. We had 3 different, essentially, communities that we started building our collection in, and we were able to sign on 75 properties in about 6 months. So that was, we won a national sales award for the most signups, and that was a lot of work. And then with regards to hospitality sales, I actually won the top sales award for my state for hospitality sales. that was given out by the Hospitality Association where I live. And additionally, one of the hotels that I worked at, probably my favorite. It's hard to pick a favorite hotel, especially when you kind of work the luxury market because they're all so beautiful. But I was awarded Coach of the Year, and that award probably meant the most to me out of all of the awards. I made President's Club and Chairman's Club and all of those things, and I won lots of awards for my sales, but that one surprised me the most and meant the most. So, yeah.
I love that. I love that you bring that that skill set and that perspective to the podcast, to the community, to the membership, because it's definitely not an area that I've had a lot of experience in, and it's a huge aspect of being able to create an impact through coaching. So, yeah.
Absolutely. I'm actually currently working on a book, and it's essentially kind of a brain dump of my sales career. And then I'm going to also add kind of what I've learned since. And I continually keep up with my sales education because sales is one of those things, particularly now, that changes constantly. So the way I started out selling is absolutely, you would never sell that way now. So yeah, I've had to actually relearn how to sell several times throughout my career. And yet again, as I've become a coach, because it's a completely different model.
Yeah.
So I'll be adding all of that into the book. And I would love to start sharing that as well in the membership. I hope everyone, would like to see some more information or masterclasses on sales and selling, because I feel like it would be a lot of fun to help with that.
Absolutely. Yay. And we had in the chat, Julie said, "That's fantastic, Gwen, that you're writing a book." So yay. There it
is. Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much. And all right, so let's go back to Chantal, or do you want to do one for both of us? What do you think?
Yeah, let's maybe do one for both of us. What's one that from someone we haven't called on yet?
Yes, exactly. I know there's some really good ones in here. Cheryl Cortez, I was just looking at one of hers.
Yeah.
It says, if you are in health and wellness or in nutrition, and I think we both are definitely starting to really focus on these things. Her question has to do with health and wellness and nutrition focus. Who would you recommend listening to that to do it well?
Yeah. I'll have to look up her name. There was recently, I'm a big Ed Mylett fan, and his podcast is just, amazing. Highly recommend if you don't already listen to him. And he had on his personal doctor nutritionist, and she had just released a book, and a lot of what she was saying just made so much sense. And I've been meaning to look her up and read her book and dig more deeper into some of those things, because she really was talking about and highlighting what we know is true, in that, especially in America, our medical system is so reactive. And so she really comes at it with a proactive approach. And she talked about the different blood work that she does with her clients and what she's looking for, and that her levels of what's in the normal healthy range are quite a bit different than what, our maybe primary care physician might deem normal.
Interesting.
Yeah. So if I was really going to start coaching in the nutrition space, I would definitely want to look at her and her work and be embedding some of that. And then just as a person who wants to do better with my health and nutrition, I plan to look her up a little bit more and start implementing some of the things she teaches.
Nice. Yeah, it sounds amazing. I kind of want to check her out as well. I really come at this from more of a health and wellness focus. And I've been big into breath work lately. And I think that the Pause Breath Work podcast is without a doubt one of the best. They share lots of tips There's breathwork activities, but then they really do delve into kind of the whole person and the whole idea of wellness and how breathwork, of course, can be a really foundational component of it. So, and Samantha Skelly, is the founder, and she runs the show over there. So I would definitely put that on my list. And then I don't know if they even have a podcast, but I also love Commune. They have a million different programs focusing on every aspect of health, wellness, nutrition that you could imagine. So everything from body work and yoga to meditation to lifestyle. And then, of course, there's some really great stuff just focused on the nutrition side. So commune.com is one of my favorites. Yeah.
I love that. Yes. Breath work and all that is just so amazing. How we were so intentionally designed, regardless of your religious beliefs, but our bodies are so capable of the healing and the calming and just the things that I'm just now scratching the surface on of learning. Like, this is amazing.
Exactly.
I found the doctor real quick. Her name's Dr. Amy Doneen, and I put her link. It's in the chat and on the screen. I just did a quick Google search and found it on Ed Milet's YouTube. And then we'll get that and any other links mentioned in the show notes. So if you're listening on the podcast, if you're watching the replay, anything, we'll get it in the show notes. And so I think Gwen's adding hers right now too. So, okay. That was a good one. And let's do. Oh, here's a good one from Julie. And Julie's with us live and one of our fabulous members. She says, how do you handle someone who drains you and you want to let them go?
Great question. Chantal, do you want to take this? Should we both answer? Or was this directed at anyone in particular?
It was for both of us. So do you want to go first or second?
I would be delighted to take this. So someone who drains you. This is tricky because sometimes someone who drains you might be a family member. So it's not necessarily someone you can walk away from per se. So, figuring out a way to take care of your own energy in these situations is probably paramount. So understanding what it is that happens that leads to that feeling of being drained and feeling like that person is draining you, whether it's just the things they say, their energy, generally speaking, are they negative, and recognizing, understanding what it is about them that is draining, and then essentially limiting your exposure to that, however you need to do it, whether it's, I need to step away for a moment. If you would allow me a few minutes, and I'll get away from the situation, especially if you're, like the holidays are coming up and, you may be in a situation where you're with someone who is draining that you can't necessarily extract yourself, but you can always step away. You can also protect your energy going into a situation. There are great rituals that you can actually undergo and just protect your own energy, which I highly recommend. And I know Julie is a big believer in prayer, and I think those things can be really powerful. So those are things that I would recommend. Of course, if this is someone that is someone you can actually let go, then by all means, and you feel like it's time to do that, I absolutely would go there. So yeah, I think, there are times and places where you have to essentially come to a place of closure with certain relationships. Now, obviously, if this is someone that you value, you'll do everything you can to salvage the relationship and maybe talk to them about, the feeling that you get when you're with them, particularly related to feeling drained, and maybe find out, if there's something that you all can work on together. those are things that I think are valuable to try.
Absolutely. I agree with all of that. And if it is somebody that you can distance yourself from a little bit, it's if you kind of do it incrementally. So if normally when they text or call you, you respond within an hour, maybe make it 3 hours and then respond the next day and then 2 days and just kind of start distancing yourself. And they can, if they're relying on you to, I don't know, if they're kind of trapped in a downward spiral and they may be used to you helping them feel better. And so they're getting something out of it that then in turn is draining you. And so if you stop providing that, if that's what's going on, they will seek it out elsewhere or start questioning, hey, I really miss you. Like, you're important in my life. What's going on? And then again, those very honest conversations can be very helpful for both of you as you both grow as people. If it's not in a like abusive, toxic, bad situation that you just clearly need to cut and be done.
Oh, absolutely. There are definitely times when you have to extract yourself, and to do it obviously with as much love and care as you can for yourself, with also, some diplomacy and consideration for the other person. If again, this is someone that you, want to keep in your life, or maybe you plan to continue a relationship with them or think that a relationship may work at a later time. But yeah, otherwise, yeah, closing the book on a relationship that's draining and you want to let go, by all means, just stop communicating with them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if they, come at you and ask why, then you can lovingly let them know that, yeah, I'm sorry, but, I have had to make this choice because I need to protect my health or my mental health. And I hope you'll honor that, and they can live with that decision. And, it's hard to disappoint people. Um, Sometimes, though, you have to really consider yourself.
Yeah. Very true. And so, yeah, I think we've covered it quite nicely.
Yeah.
There's always, more to certain individual stories and
Yeah.
situations, but I think those are kind of some really good general guidelines and ideas of places to start. So, let's see. We have time to probably take a couple more. Let's see. Vanessa Chun, my cousin, she wants to question for both of us. Says, what made you decide to get into coaching, and have you used it in your life?
Chantal, do you want to take that one first?
Sure. I got into coaching inadvertently, like kind of stumbled into it. I was asked to apply for an instructional coaching job within the special education, public education system that I was teaching in. And at that time, I just thought that meant like I was the decent teacher and I could help out newer teachers. And so that's a little bit of it. And then I got some coaching training and really fell in love with it. And then after my divorce and then my personal transformation and writing of my book, people asked to hire me as their coach. And so after struggling with that, which I shared in, I think, episode 1 of this season, sought out coaching certifications. And so it just made sense. It was the next logical step in my path. I felt very called to it. It just felt like it was aligned with my purpose and like why I'm here on this earth and how I'm going to make an impact. And then how have I used it in my life? I have had multiple coaches. Like, I am a huge fan of coaching. My first coach I hired was my book coach, and it was the first time I invested in myself for something that wasn't a college degree. And that was scary and it was hard. And there's no way in hell I'd have a book if I didn't do it. I mean,
Coaches are invaluable,
yes.
in other words.
So yeah, I had a motivation. I wanted to accomplish something. I didn't know how to do it, where to start. And so to cut down the time and the learning curve, it was worth it to me to figure out how to pay for a book coach and an editor and a publisher and all those things. And yeah, Ubering and Lyfting, you can meet some really fun people and make some extra money.
That's hysterical. Yeah. And I recall a story that you shared, Chantal, about having, after your book was published, being at book signings and people coming up to you and asking you if you would be their coach. And you were like, sorry, what does that even mean?
Absolutely. Yeah. It definitely was not something like at age 5, I was setting up my stuffed animals and playing school and saying, I want to be a teacher. Like I did not go into coaching being like, I want to be a coach. It really came to me, and it is an addition onto my purpose and calling as a teacher.
Absolutely. That's really cool. And yeah, I think coaching is a skill set that teachers more and more really need. It's not just, imparting information anymore. You really have to help your students kind of come to their own realizations and wisdoms. And I think coaching is a really great way to do that, to get to the heart of things without telling them, essentially asking them those questions, those coaching questions. Yeah. For me, it's kind of interesting. I got an email out of the blue. I don't know what email list I was on, but I was invited to this 2-day event, and it was put on by some people that I'd not heard of. And there was one presenter in particular that I was like, oh, I used to follow his, YouTube or blog or something. And I was like, I'm kind of interested in hearing what he has to say. And then they had a lineup of all of these people. And normally this is not something I would have attended, but it was a virtual event and you could kind of pop in and out. It was like 2 full days back to back. And the first day I popped in, the individual that I was really interested in seeing, Ryan Levesque, if anybody's, familiar, he's like a marketing genius. Anyway, he was like the first presenter and his presentation was unbelievable. And it was literally one after another of these. And it was all about coaching. And of course, at the end of each day, they were talking about this coaching training that they were offering. And I was like, that would actually be really cool. And I started thinking about it. At the time, I was really deep into human design training, and I was still kind of trying to figure out exactly what to do with it. You can give readings and consultations, and those were things I was definitely exploring. But then I thought, coaching through the lens of human design would be so amazing. It would be so cool to learn, all about coaching. And so, yeah, lo and behold, I got a wild hair and signed up for this coaching certification program. And it was such a great decision. It has led me to so much more. I've always been kind of very much up in my head, and I love learning, but implementation has always been a little challenging for me. Particularly in this new phase of my life, because I'm doing so many new things. And while I've been a really amazing salesperson, marketing is like, to me, it's like a black magic. And so a lot of what we talked about was marketing in this particular coaching program. And now I've recognized the need for a marketing coach myself. And so now I'm actually, I've hired someone to help me with that piece of it. And it's all implementation. It's not just learning. So I am, I recognize, where I need to have a little more guidance and a little more accountability. And so, yeah, for me, coaching is that. It's that, that space that's being held so that you get that really important work done. And you have someone there who has the knowledge, who's done it before, who can tell you what to do, but who also can help you figure out exactly what it is you need to do now and next and next and next, because so often it's like we see the end result, but it's like, how did they even get there? And where do I start? And, at that point, it's like game over. The procrastination game starts and the distraction game starts. And so for me, a coach is there to really help you map out the journey to your future self. So,
Absolutely. Yeah. And I love with coaching because there is a level of, I wanted to write a book. So I hired a book coach, someone who had published multiple books. They knew the system inside and out. I needed that knowledge, which I got in some modules and in some group coaching type things where you show up with a question and you kind of coach around it. But it was really the accountability and then some of those one-on-one conversations where he really asked me questions and didn't just tell me, okay, you've done A, B, and C. Now you're going to go do da, 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 and da, da, da. Like, okay, good luck. Bye. He really helped ask questions and guide my thinking so that, he wasn't like, well, this would be a good title for your book. What might be a good title for your book?
Exactly.
Like, well, I don't know. It's like, well, what if you did know? What type of feeling do you want to encompass? Like, what do you want to capture with the title? What do you want to, like, really helped guide my thinking and bring it out from inside of me rather than just telling me. That's one example, but that's what I really love about coaching. I love teaching, but then when I put on my coaching hat, like, cause I'll do the podcasting masterclass series, but then I'm like, okay, so I gave you 3 ideas of whatever, how you might structure your podcast. Now here's 5 minutes for you to think about what that looks like for you. Okay, now let's talk about it. Let's dig into that. So really, yeah, it's a nice flow, the teaching and coaching, but yeah, the coaching hat to me is so important to help facilitate and guide that thinking and bring it out from the person you're working with.
Absolutely. So a quick follow-up question, because Esmeralda actually asked a question that I think goes with this question so well. And she actually asked this of you. So what motivates you to dream big in your coaching business? I love this question.
The funny thing about dreaming big is it seems really big and you journal about it and you visualize it and then your brain starts to see it as a possibility and a reality. And then the next quarter or however long it is before you sit down and kind of really do some visualization activities again, your vision grows way bigger. So my giant vision when I started this journey is now like a baby tiny stepping stone of where I'm at today. And now my next vision is so huge. So I think surrounding yourself with the right people and communities that help you dream big and bigger and don't just, because the norm would be you say, I want to write a book. And everyone says, but why? Well, isn't that going to take time? Isn't it going to take money? How are you going to do that? That sounds boring. And so now that dream just got crushed. But when you say it in the right company, I want to write a book. Ooh, tell me more about that. Why do you want to write a book? What's it going to be about? When are you going to have it done by? When can I read it? When can I? And you're like, oh crap, I'm actually doing this. Okay. So really, what Jim Rohn's power of 5 people you surround yourself with, be very, very intentional about those people when you are dreaming big in your life and in your coaching business. And then taking the intentional time to dream, to visualize, to play the game of what if, or what's the best that could happen, rather than saying, oh, it'd be cool to write a book. Oh, no, I can't. Here's the 10 reasons why. It's like, it would be cool to write a book. What might that look like? What would I write about? How do I make that happen? What are the resources available to me to help me even know what questions to ask and who to connect with? And so allowing yourself to dream, taking the time to dream, and surrounding yourself with people who support that dream. And Julie's on here. Julie and I met Jackie Cote. She's going to be a guest here in a couple weeks on the podcast. She saw in me when we were at that speaking conference in Denver that I was a coach. And I didn't see it. And she told me, and I was like, oh no, here's all the reasons why. And she saw it and she didn't let it go. And we did a coaching 10-week thing together, an online virtual thing. And I was like, I'm the content person. I will teach about chapter 1, and then you will coach around chapter 1. Okay, next week, chapter 2. Now you do the coaching. And I had this very big, but she saw it in me and she brought it out of me. So surrounding yourself with people who allow you to dream, support your dream, and even like see it in you before you can see it in you, and draw it out in you and believe in you and push you.
Nice. Beautiful.
Yes.
Love that. And I love that you had a coach see a coach in you.
Mm-hmm.
And you allowed yourself to lean into that.
Yeah.
Beautiful. And I'm really excited that she's going to be a guest.
Yeah. She's doing fabulous things. So I'm excited to get all the updates.
Awesome.
Okay, we are running short on time. I want to make sure we get one question from everybody that's submitted. Yep. Okay, so we've got 2 from Crystal. Which one do you want to tackle?
Oh gosh, let's see. We've got the balance question and the book question. What sounds fun to you, Chantal? The balance one might be a little.
It's a little more lengthy.
Exactly.
I will say, Crystal, just because I know you're also in the special education space, and that you are building a life and looking at career options outside of your day job. And it is a very demanding career. It takes boundaries, and it takes wanting something different, because we are all on autopilot and we keep repeating the same cycles. And so you've got to do something to disrupt that cycle and start building a new cycle. And so really starting with your powerful why of why do you want something different, and kind of visualizing that big dream and say, why do I want that? And really tapping into the emotional part of, you could say, I want to lose weight. Why? Because I just want to look better, because I look in the mirror and I feel yucky. But if you really start asking, but why is that important? Why is that important? Why is that important? Why is that important? You can eventually tap into something really deep and emotional, such as a client from back in the day. Her down why was her daughter had just had, gosh darn it, I'm gonna cry. Her daughter had just had like her 11th or 12th birthday, and that's how old she was when she lost her mom to a heart attack. Sorry. And so she was large and unhealthy, and it was so important to her to lose weight, to be healthy, to be there for the important milestones that she didn't get to have with her mom. Sorry, it's not even my why. But just so powerful when you can get to that why, that very emotional why, because that's what's going to drive you when the old patterns creep in. When her alarm would go off in the morning and it's easier to hit snooze and just say, I'll work out tomorrow. If she had that why to grab onto and get her butt out of bed and change that pattern. So that's what I would recommend anybody that's looking for balance, that's feeling overwhelmed, that's trying to dream big, trying to make a life change. Figure out that why, that really deep why, because that is what's going to drive you.
Exactly. The motivation piece is unbelievably important. You've got to have belief and you've got to have motivation. So the belief in yourself, it's a big piece of it, but you're absolutely right. The why is the biggest motivator you can find. And however you can put that in front of yourself every day, so that you can keep going, even when it gets really hard and difficult, because every journey does. And even if you give up, you can reignite yourself with your why. So yeah. You're absolutely right. Knowing and asking why more than once. Asking it 5 times.
It takes between 5 to 7 typically.
Exactly.
And when you hit it, because you get that emotional response. If you're just kind of like, well, because of this, then you haven't hit it yet. Keep digging.
Exactly. You're absolutely right. And you can never assume that your why is the same as another person's why, even if you're doing the same thing. So it's so important to ask others their why. Really cool. That's amazing and really touching.
Yes.
Story.
So we are running a little long. Let's answer one quick question from Shannon Briggs. She's, I think, the only one who submitted a Google form that we haven't gotten to one of her questions.
Okay.
She says, what are the top I can't or no beliefs from potential clients?
Oh gosh.
I know.
So many.
So many. But I
Yeah.
do think a consistent thing, and I did it and still do it. Each level I go up, it comes back and I've got to work through it, is I don't have enough time. I don't have enough money.
Yep. Yeah.
And those, if you can get past those, then you can start figuring out, okay, I'm going to figure out the time. I'm going to figure out the money. Now, what are my resources that are going to help me accomplish this? What is my why? What is, and you can start going deeper. But yeah, I can't do it because I don't have enough time, because I don't have enough money. Like,
exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And time and money, when you are connecting with and enrolling clients, these are the two biggest obstacles that people throw up for themselves. And so, yeah, knowing how to overcome these both for yourself and for other people can be invaluable in changing lives and making an impact, and in also in also converting clients. So yeah, those are really incredible. Like, you hit on two of the biggest, Chantal, for sure. I think we could talk about perfectionism being a big stumbling block for so many in just implementing. But the beliefs, for sure, is I don't have enough time. I don't have the money. Major. I don't know enough. Those are other ones. Self-worth, of course, is a massive one. People who don't understand or recognize their own value. And there are really great ways to coach around those things, and just like letting them explore what they have done before, what they have overcome before in their lives. That's a really fun exercise, is to allow people to actually look back and see what they've achieved, and really allow them to tell that story. And all of a sudden, they start to build a lot more confidence.
Yes, I love it. I could answer more and more questions. This is so fun. But we've got to wrap it up.
So many great questions.
I know, but we get to the next fun part,
which is
our fun little spinner you made us, so we could see who won the 30-day all access pass.
Yes. All right. I'm going to throw it up here.
Okay. So everyone who answered a question, if you submitted 3 questions, there's 3 names on there.
Drum roll, drum roll, drum roll, drum roll. Here it comes. Woohoo! Michelle! Michelle submitted 11 questions. And I think she was actually the first person to submit questions, wasn't she?
I think she was, yes.
Yeah, that's so awesome.
How
love exciting. It. So cool.
Yay.
We do have a winner.
I'm so excited, Michelle, because I know that you're working on podcasting and you are building momentum. And so I'm so excited to get you in the membership so you can catch up on what's already released for all the podcasting series and what's there. And then for everything more to come throughout your next 30 days. So exciting. I don't know, Gwen, that's been pretty fun. And they've stuck with us for an hour and 1 minute. Let's do another one.
Oh, okay.
Really generous.
Fabulous. Are we ready, folks? Spinning again.
More confetti. Let's go.
Drum roll. I know. Oh, it says Rhonda.
Awesome. So a current member gets her next 30 days free. And so, yay, that's very exciting.
Oh my gosh, that was perfect. And yeah, not just a current member, but a founding member. So how delightful is this? That's so amazing. I'm so excited.
Yay.
2 winners.
2 winners. Yes. Thank you all so much for joining us. It's been so fun celebrating our 100th episode of the Create a Life You Love podcast. It was my dream to launch a podcast, and I never, ever could have dreamed or imagined that we'd be here 2 years later and 4 seasons in and 100 episodes in. That wasn't even really my dream and goal at the point, but the consistency and the support from all of you has just kept me going. It's been an incredibly rewarding experience. So just special thanks to all the amazing guests guests I've had so far, the ones to come, to you as all the amazing listeners and all of our community and our members. And I'm just so honored to be part of your journey.
Absolutely. I am so excited to be welcoming a new member for 30 days, and hopefully Michelle will stay with us into the Create a Life You Love membership. Of course, this includes, as we talked about, live and recorded masterclasses. We've got live coaching calls, reflection and accountability calls, plus this amazing private community where we can connect, engage, we share bonus content, we provide additional support to our members to each other, and everyone shares feedback and questions and answers. So it's such a fantastic community to be a part of, and we hope that everyone will consider becoming a member and applying for membership. And yeah, we look forward to welcoming Michelle, and of course, congrats to Esme for getting a bonus free month.
Absolutely. And we'll be in touch with you of next steps on how to get those. And so just stay tuned to your email. We'll get that information to you. Anyone who was interested, anyone who's interested in the membership, right now it is still $97. On October 15th, that closes. So beginning of the day, October 16th, it is going to go up to $222 in order to... that membership app that we got, that's so much a month. The Zoom is so much a month. All the different things that it takes to put on the membership costs money. And so to be able to continue to provide the level of value and service and grow and continue to provide more value and service, that is what we've decided is on October 15th, 2022 will be the last day. It's at $97. And so October 16th goes to $222. It's a great, beautiful, magical angel number if you're into that. So yes, as a bonus for listening and being in the audience prior to that happening, you have access to that prize as well of getting in for $97 and being able to lock in that price for as long as your membership remains active.
That's really cool. Well, this was quite a bit of a different episode for us. Of course, we would love to know what your takeaways were today, what value you received, what were some of the nuggets. And we, of course, invite you to please share the podcast with someone that you think would enjoy it and get benefit from it as well. And we would love for you to share your review of the podcast. So you can easily leave a review at ratethispodcast.com/Calyl, Calyl. So please do that and share the love. What's coming up next week?
Ooh, next week's super fun. A organization I'm part of here in Wichita is The Hive, and it's another amazing community of women entrepreneurs. And so Reagan Storm is going to be our guest. I'm super excited to have her. She is a fabulous sales and self-trust mastery coach, and she helps burnt-out coaches sign 4-figure clients by simplifying their sales strategy and implementing her self-trust framework so that they can make coaching their forever job. So you will definitely want to tune in for that.
Absolutely. I will be there for sure. And of course, you can catch us in the Create a Life You Love community on Facebook or in your favorite podcasting platform. So we certainly invite you to join us in Facebook or on your favorite podcasting platform.
Yes. Thank you, everyone, so much. Enjoy the journey. Thank you for listening to the Create a Life You Love podcast. We would love to hear from you about your biggest takeaways. Share them with us on Facebook or Instagram at Create a Life You Love Coaching. If you love this episode, be sure to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. It's very much appreciated. If you're ready to build aligned and sustainable momentum without overwhelm and burnout, we invite you to apply for the Create a Life You Love membership on our website, createalifeyoulovecoaching.com/membership. That's it for now. Enjoy the journey.